Welcome to another episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. I'm your host, founder, and executive director of Voices for Voices, Justin Allen Hayes. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for all the love and support you've given us. We are over 209 episodes, I believe, at this point. We have a few in the bag that are coming out here, and this is going to be one of them in the future short term that we're gonna share off cycle because the content and conversation is a lot of current events, and so we want to just make sure we get that out ahead of time instead of holding back. If you can subscribe, if you can like, share, all that fun stuff, we would appreciate it. And again, you can find us anywhere from uh, YouTube, Rumble, audio, uh, basically any type of audio podcast platform that you like and you prefer, then that's great for us because we're there. And so we are very excited for this episode, as we are all episodes, uh, because what we're sharing is information, current events, and then as well as uplifting what it takes to be an author, what type of drive and determination and passion does it take? Because uh, there are, as other areas, there are different levels. Somebody like myself that puts a little, uh, you know, 80, 90 page pamphlet together on my mental health journey or some career tips, or we talk about books that are much longer and take a lot of time developing characters, who they are, sometimes what they look like from a creative standpoint. But that's not my specialty. That's the specialty of our guest today. So we want to thank Gabriel Bloor for joining us on this episode. We are very grateful for him joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. Sorry,
Yeah,
two J's,
good.
wrong
Yeah.
J. Thank you for having me. To go on the topic of pamphlets, the difference between pamphlets and writing novels, I think it just depends on your mindset. I mean, I can't say I have published two poetry books that are basically like a pamphlet, but they're just a collection of poems that I have on Amazon. Um, but I think it's all about how one sees writing. Could I write a pamphlet on mental health? Probably not. I probably shouldn't touch on the subject since I would consider myself not the most mentally stable due to a number of reasons. I mean, I won't say it as a crutch, but my superpower is I'm dyslexic. And in being that, when I write a story, I don't create just a story. I make an entire world and everything that surrounds it. I could tell you what it would smell like, what it would taste like, what it feels in the atmosphere. I have what I've been told is a very unique way and approach to writing. As an author, unlike most Christian authors, I tap into the more dark psychological because I am getting my bachelor's in psychology in a Christian college that I'm going to at Luther Rice. I'm also, I write first person. I really struggle writing third person, and first person allowed me to write an immersion that really isn't seen in Christian fiction.
Yeah. Yeah. So how did your interest in writing and how'd that get started?
Well, I can actually tell you I was 13 years old and my mother I was homeschooled. And one of the things I had to do before I was allowed to play video games, it was because I played too much when I was growing up. My mom was like,
Mhm.
"Don't teach him to play. He'll never stop." Okay, fine. You want to play, you have to do XYZ. So one of the things I had to do was I had to do this big book, and it was story starters. And you would read the story, and you had to end it. And so I did that, and then I was allowed to play. And after ooh, a couple weeks of me doing it, I went to my mother one day. I'm like, Mommy, I want to write my own superhero story. 11 years from then to who I am now, I've started at least 120 books in less than a decade. And it was not until the past 4 years that I actually got more serious in my writing. But with all those books that I had started, the Lord was teaching me how to write. When my mother was first trying to teach me how to do oral narrations, she we had a hard time because I wasn't very detailed. I wasn't very specific. My mother would ask me, "Okay, Gabriel, tell me about the story. A frog hopped in water." Okay, and then what? There was a splash. I went from that, I want to say
Mhm.
5 years old, to I have been told at least officially 3 times by 3 different people that when they read my stories, it's like watching a movie.
Oh, that's awesome. Have you uh, delved into like entertainment and media, like
I have.
movies and comics?
I actually, it's funny you should say that. I actually found an illustrator for a comic book that I'm working on. I have no artistic capability at all. I screw up a stick figure. I screw up a stick
Me too.
figure. It's the simplest thing out there. I can't even do that. Artistry is not my forte. I am more of an artist with words, especially when it comes to poetry. So I have an artist working on a comic series called Crosshairs of My Heart. And that is a story leading about a young man, actually a high schooler who took up bounty hunting after his father, who was a hitman, died to raise the funds necessary for his mother's chemotherapy. He's
Wow.
roughly 18 years old. So the crosshairs of my heart deals with two main topics. One, it is him in his walk with Christ as he has to deal with a more edgy lifestyle because bounty hunting isn't easy. And there's two kinds of bounty hunting. You have a bounty hunting where you're working with the police force looking for criminals, and you have bounty hunting hired by criminals to go kill people. And so he's in that middle, even though he does work with a specific police officer, the chief of police in his area. There are times where the temptation to get that higher pay is tempting. So it will lead across that. So while he's walking this path, his his walk with Christ isn't the greatest in the beginning. But this is going to have him lean more on Christ to provide his needs, to protect his mom, and to guard him from those temptations. But also at the same time, there's this new girl in his high school that gets transferred in that he ends up becoming attracted to. So he has to learn to balance those things, his work, being with his mom, and then this new girl at school, even though he's more kept to himself.
Wow. Very, very detailed. What's the research process like? I mean, you can use the bounty hunter or another character. Is it just what's in your mind, or are there certain
Okay,
uh, ways to go about it?
I have multiple ways. I'm stimulus hungry. How my brain works, I can literally pull a string from one thing and I can create an entire web. That's just how my brain works. I mean, some people would consider this cheating, but I do use Chat GPA for one purpose. I do not have it write my story. That's one, that's cheating. Two, that's too easy. Where's the fun in that? None. What I use chat for is I have it look for names because the names of my characters are very specific. My character, Elias Dante, Elias means, oh gosh, give me just a second.
Yeah, you're good.
I kept it on my notes Because what I do is that I either ask for advice, like how does get feedback, because it's hard for me to get feedback for, okay,
Mhm.
hold on. That's not it. Hold on. Super. It should be right here. Why isn't it not right here? That's not it. Why can't I find it? I can't find it. Blast. Okay then. I can't find it.
No worries.
Either way, it's something about like God is my strength or God is my protector. It's one of that. That's one of the reasons why I named him Elias Dante. Well, the last name Dante um was from Dante's Inferno.
Okay.
That I haven't read the book, but I liked because of Dante the title, just Dante's
Mm-hmm.
Inferno. Elias will go through his own inferno. So that was kind of the correlation between the two. That's how it works in my head. As for research, I've watched a couple movies with bounty hunting in it. I've played a couple video games with bounty hunting in it. So for me, that really piled in quite um easily. I mean, for my kind of brain, I can have something back in the back of my head just stewing for a while, and then I'll have something else come in. I'm like, and those two will mix, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I have this idea, and and then it just spirals down. I don't. I've spoken to several authors. I've spoken with David Solomon. My best friend's an author. My father's an author. My sisters are authors. My brothers are authors. They all write in some form or fashion. When they're developing characters, when they're building worlds, it's like, okay, we put this, and then add this and this. I'm like, okay, this is how it works for me in my head when I create a story. Watch. No, well, it didn't do that great. Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. It just flips like that.
Yeah.
I can have
Mhm.
I can have you character, body type, color, eyes, shape, skin. The only thing I will not have is a name. Names are
Mhm.
my name when it comes to names are my weakness. As
Mhm.
earlier, I mixed your name up because it's like, phew, that's how fast names go out of my head. But once I have the name get down, I can usually have the whole character. And once I have the whole character, I can start building the world. That's one of the main reasons why I use chat was for names. I have names, it is done.
Yeah. Uh, I think an area, so with you being dyslexic, I have the depression and anxiety and ADD, ADHD, all the
Sounds
above.
about right.
Yeah, yeah. It's and so I totally get when you say you have an idea stewing in the back of your mind, and it's just there, but then once that thing, whatever that is, and we might not know what it is until we see it, but when that thing comes up, it really like you said, it meshes and it really goes together. For individuals watching, listening that uh, think that I'm dyslexic or I have depression or I have bipolar or whatever the challenge might be. Uh, what's your advice to them to power on if being an author is something they want, or if something else is interested in them, and they may have been told no, or they may have not pursued that. Can you maybe just touch on that?
You know, I can't touch on that. My mother told me for the longest time, my dyslexia is not a weakness, but a superpower. And I'm like, where? Where? Mother, please enlighten me in your wisdom. If I have this superpower, then why does it feel like a weakness? Why does it feel like I'm always being chained down? Why can I not fly? And then I also suffer from anxiety. I suffer from depression. My mother has ADHD, so it's likely I have ADHD. Um, I can see symptoms of it. I am taking psychology. I have kind of self-diagnosed. Even they say don't do that, but I'm like, yeah, I kind of know myself. Self-reflection is a really present thing. I self-reflect more times a day than that's probably mentally healthy, but regardless, it's not like I can stop myself because I overthink things. But after a while, I mean, I would talk to my father about my writing, talk to these people about my writing. Heck, I've even spoke to Chat. I'm like, Chat, let me tell you what I've done as an author. I've wrote a 500-page book in 9 months. It has, it is literally one event tied in by four. It is one event tied in by four different perspectives. So each book is one main character. And then there was this, and then I was pulling this, and then I was just layering all these things, and it just clicked. I am able to 3D pull myself out and see everything. And that's when I realized, wait a minute, this is a superpower. How many authors do you know can both be the person within the story and yet go out, turn around, and then observe everything in the background? Are you familiar with Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah. Yes.
Have you seen the BBC Sherlock?
Yes.
His mind palace.
Mm.
That's how mine works. It goes in my head, I take it in, and then I just look through all the rooms. I'm like, okay, does this fit here? Does that fit there? Is this the right coat of paint? Is this smell going to somehow help me in the future? This is how my dyslexic brain works. It puts everything together and then it just goes and it just locks in. What you need to do, my advice, is that find your strengths, find your weaknesses, find your weakness in your strengths, and find your strengths in your weakness. With my dyslexia, I can either be hyper focused or so disfocused it's not even funny
Mm-hmm.
because I'll be all over the place and everyone thinks you're not paying attention. It's like, wrong. I'm paying attention to everything, but nothing's clicking in my head. That is both the strength and the weakness of my dyslexia. But since I know that, I know how to adjust myself to it. Don't always think I'm a negative person by nature. I am a very, very negative person. I literally caught myself being positively negative at one point. It was like, ouch, that
Yeah.
hurts. But knowing that I'm negative, you need to learn to see yourself in a different light. You can't always see yourself through your own eyes. As a Christian, we have to see ourselves through the eyes of Christ. How does he see us? In the Bible, when I see Christ, when he looks at me, he sees my beloved child, my hum- my humble servant, my chosen creation. And I'm not saying chosen as in I'm so special, Jesus chose me. No, I'm saying my chosen creation because Jesus Christ died on the cross for me. Any Christian can say when they think of Jesus seeing them, my chosen one, because we are all precious equally in the Lord's eyes.
Yeah. That's so powerful. Uh, I'm trying to think as you're going through this creative process where at whatever stage you're at in a project, do you um, do you play music or do you have to have silence? Do you have a certain place you go and that or if, if you can maybe just share I'm just wondering because I for me to think I'm saying clearly others will say well that's not very clear but for me to think clearly I like to have silence, but then there's other times where to your point of there's an event happening and you're taking it all in and going, oh my gosh, like this thing connects to that thing. And others can think that we're not focused, like you said, that like, oh, yeah, we're all over the place. But when it gets to that time where we need to lock in, for whatever project that may be. I'm just curious if you have how you
Well, I
kind of
can't.
let your mind
Mhm.
know.
I can't say I actually have a place where I can go, because I'm the church custodian and I can't drive yet, even though I'm 24. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. We've lived in an RV for about 4 years. It's not like it was very easy, and there's just been so much. No, me, I can literally pick any spot and start writing. That's one of my strengths. However, my problem can be is that I get distracted easily, and depending on what the situation is, and can't write. But I do listen to music. Listen to a large variety of music. For some books, I've literally found a song that I can take this song about this character, and whenever I hear this song, I can write about this character like my fingers are on fire.
Uh-huh.
But other songs, with other stories, I have to go through a playlist and they have to rotate. Sometimes I need to listen to the song that matches the aura of what I'm writing. So I'll be looking for like darker songs for like darker scenes, lighter songs for lighter scenes, sad songs for sad sings, more romantic songs for more romantic pieces. It
Yeah,
really just depends. I mean, I'm
just
flexible like that.
mhm. No, that's incredible insight. Uh, as you're mentioning the scene that you're working on, the how music can play, and to somebody might be like, oh yeah, well that makes complete sense. That's the first time I've ever heard that, and that makes it in my mind it makes perfect sense. It's like, well, of course, if you're working on the dark scene, this type of music, if that's the route that's going, and I think that's uh, something that it can be very helpful that you just do it. Like that's just how your mind operates that you work on. So you're working on or have work on 30 or so projects at a time,
Those are the
uh,
books.
or the books. Yeah.
I
How?
about have like 3 TV shows that I have on a side project, and I got a couple video games that have been going through my head. When it comes to writing stories, whether for television, video games, I don't really have a limit. My biggest problem when it comes to stuff like that is learning the script writing. The script writing um is difficult for me,
Okay.
so I'm trying to learn. It's one of the things I like about my Illustrator, because with the script writing, it's difficult because I'm used to going into such great detail, but I want to keep it simple. I don't want to over exasperate, but I also know with my dyslexia, I do have some issues with like editing and whatnot. Some things pass over my head. Unless it's highlighted, it could be a moving car, I'll miss it. Well, until it hits me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the truth in fact. But when it comes to creative writing, I have no limit.
That's fantastic. We're getting towards the end of this first episode. For those that for whatever reason might not catch our second episode, how can people learn more about you, find the books that are out, and just give a plug for.
Okay, well, you can find me on Amazon. It's Gabriel Bloor, and one of the books you can find, one of the poetry books is called Gabriel's Message. You can also find me on Rubble. I'm called The Custodian. Capital T, capital C, and the and custodian are put together. There is no space between the two. It has some, actually, if you give me a second,
Hmm.
I can do my background effect. Hold on. I can put it here. It'll take me just a second.
Sure.
I do state if I have a book out on Rumble. I also do
Mhm.
game videos. I do all kinds of videos actually. I tried a podcast a couple times. Where is it? Here we go. Give it a second. There we go. The Custodian.
Uh, wow. That's awesome. I love it.
It was a mix of Tron and like a Star Wars feel to it. I'm like, with that Assassin's Creed mix. I'm like, yeah, I like this one. I like the white and gray. So yeah, the custodian, it's gonna have that face. Um, that's where you can find me. I'll talk about my books. I'll talk about anything I'm doing. I'm doing live streams. So if you want to find me, you'll have my Facebook page there. You'll have a link to my website on Amazon, and when my new book comes out on from with last chapter, which will be Project Chrysalis, I will have that in the description as well.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us on this episode. We're going to close this one out, and then we'll come right back and continue our conversation with author Gabriel Bloor. Thank you for joining us. It's been a grateful and blessing to have you share insight, literally inside your mind, how that works, and inspire uh, lots of people out there.
I hope I can inspire others. That's the thing. That's the dream. That's the dream. Is to
Yeah.
inspire others and show Christ through every step, even though it looks really ugly.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for
Thank you for
joining
having
us.
me, Justin.
You're welcome. And to our viewers and listeners, you can check out this and other episodes in our catalog anywhere you consume audio podcasts. And we also have the video portion in 1080 high def in YouTube and Rumble as well. So until next time, please be a voice for you or somebody in need.